On the dating site OkCupid, there's a question that asks, would you rather be normal or weird? And I got into an argument with some family members over Christmas break as to what the most desirable answer to this question was. They both said weird. They'd rather be weird. And I disagreed. I said normal. And what I learned from that conversation, or what I took away from it, was that there's a glorification of weirdness by people who I don't think understand what it's like to be truly socially ostracized and socially awkward. There's a quote by Jim Morrison that says, "Where's your will to be weird?" And the reason I don't agree with that quote anymore, even though I think it is a cool quote, is that I think it backs up the very toxic lie that what other people think doesn't matter. In the book Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell, he compares the trajectory of two geniuses. And the first one is a guy by the name of Chris Langan. He had a 200 level IQ, something really high like that, very good in class, very good in school, smartest person in the room. But his problem is that he let everybody know he was the smartest person in the room. He didn't care what his colleagues thought of him. He didn't care what fellow students thought of him. He didn't care that he humiliated his professors and that his professors didn't like him. And what eventually ended up happening to him was that he was kicked out of school because he missed a financial aid deadline. And the reality of that situation is that there was a lot of people that could have helped him out, but they didn't want to because they didn't like him. And he ended up moving to a farm in Missouri after he won some money on a game show, and sadly he didn't live up to his potential. And the other genius they talk about in the book Outliers is a guy by the name of J. Robert Oppenheimer. And J. Robert Oppenheimer was charming, he was suave, he was likable, he had a good sense of humor, and he actually poisoned his professor, and they put him on academic probation. No, they didn't kick him out of the school. Why? Because he could talk his way out of that situation. The faculty liked him. He could justify his actions. And eventually what ended up happening to him is that he became the head of the Manhattan Project, which is the project that created the atomic bomb. And whether or not you think the atomic bomb or the use of the atomic bomb was morally okay, what is objectively true is that he was the most successful scientist of his time, or one of the most successful, and one of the most influential people of the 20th century. And he reached the top of his profession. And a good reason for that was he knew how to be normal. He understood that caring about what other people think matters. I was talking to my friend recently who has Asperger's syndrome, and we were sharing similar experiences that I've had because I have CP and ADHD, and how much we've changed since high school and how much we've grown in becoming more socially apt and caring more about how we dress and how we look and how we smell and how much happier we are as people. And my point is not that weird's a bad thing or that being unique's a bad thing, but I think you should acknowledge that it does exist on a spectrum of weird versus normal, and striving to be normal and striving to have people like you and understand you also is not a bad thing. One of the weirdest personal habits I have is that I talk to myself. I'm talking to myself right now into a camera, like a weirdo. But, I talk to myself all the time, and ever since I could remember, that's what I've always done. And I would not snap my fingers and say, oh, I want to be normal. I wouldn't take that away, because that's very much where my ability as a communicator comes from. I can speak well because I'm constantly speaking. That's very much where my ability as a writer comes from. I can come up with dialogue easily because I can talk it out in my head. And I don't think it's a bad thing, but it wouldn't do me any favors if I thought that I could do that all the time and I didn't care what other people thought and how I looked if I just did it at work or did it at Walmart. And my last point's going to be is that if you're somebody like me or my friend with Asperger's syndrome, it's not bad to strive to have other people to like you. It's not bad to strive to be normal and understand being social. And I understand what I'm saying isn't gospel. I know it's my opinion, so please feel free to share with me yours down below. Leave a comment. Thank you very much for watching. This has been another episode of Tide Testimonials. Thank you.